Alright, fam, what's good? Welcome, how are you? I'm feeling a little bit of a grumpus today because for like the last 3 weeks I've only been sleeping about 4 hours per night because of a new medication that I'm taking, and it's starting to really bother me because it's working otherwise well, but yeah, I'm just not getting a lot of sleep at all. So I'm feeling quite grumpy, and I thought I'd come on here and hang out with you again because that always makes me feel better. I want to take a look at r/Tinder stories today. I've never actually looked at that before. But before I forget, because I forgot to mention it in my last video, please let me know in the comments below what you think of the video quality of this webcam that I'm using for this video and the last one that I posted compared to the previous videos, because I would really like to know if you think that the quality is significantly better to the point that would justify keeping this new webcam. Alright, let me know in the comments. Thank you. So, Tinder stories. As I say, I've never looked in this one before. The very first post on it, didn't we just talk about this? Ideal height on a guy, ladies answer. I mean, for one thing, it's not just women who date men, right? But also, like, why are people so obsessed with this? I don't understand. Like, I mean, they're not even going past 5'8", which is already above average in some countries. I mean, if you see my other video, you know what I think about that. I don't understand why people are so hung up on height, but what I will say, because these people who seem to be really hung up on height, they're never like, oh, I want someone who's below average height. It's always like super tall people. And what I will say, as a small patatita myself, is that in terms of your partner being taller than you, it does get to a certain point where they're too tall, and it just makes things impractical. Like even hugging, it's like... Anyway, so let's not do that one. We're not going to do that one. Oh my god, does anyone remember Tinder for under 18s? Ooh, was that a thing? I remember being on it when I was in high school, around 2013-15. What's it now, 2023? Like 10 years ago? I didn't know Tinder had been around for that long. I can't imagine how Tinder ever thought that would be a good idea. Yeah, that's like fucking Peter File Central, surely. I remember when I made a Tinder in high school, not even thinking about the age. Oh, you know what? I don't want to go on because I just feel like there's going to be horror stories there. A race to the bottom. What? As I say, I've never been on this subreddit before, so I don't know what to expect on here. I don't know if people are asking for advice or what. A race to the bottom. Hi, I'm actually looking for a dog since mine passed away. I do yoga and highly recommend it. What? What's that got to do with anything? Maybe it's a reference to the profile. Would you like an educated assistance with getting a new dog, or for me to pick one for you? Sorry about your family member. I know it's hard. End of January 2020 is when I lost them. Thanks for your concern. I would like for you to let me know your schedule so we could possibly talk about dogs in general. I'm also one to definitely try new things. I know I want to check out this dog with someone of the opposite sex. What? Yeah, what the fuck was that? That was like such a nothing conversation. What's the response supposed to be? It was not fun to read. I agree, like why even post that? No offense. Okay, moving on. Ugh, this looks like another this opener finally worked. What is this crap? Okay, will he easily move on? Here's a something that actually sounds like a story, not just a screenshot. Will he easily move on? Let's see. My date and I have chemistry over the roof, and I'd say my favourite makeout session ever was with him. He seemed to enjoy it a lot as well, since he was very into vocal, and I even had to slow him down at one point. I think vocal is code. Not only that, but our conversation flew effortlessly, and it was overall a really, really good date. We've been only seeing each other for a few weeks, and now he's pushing a lot for more intimacy to the point of arrogance and entitlement, which made me feel repulsed by him. Will he forget me if I decide to cut things off before we sleep together? So I have questions. Just looking for pronouns as usual. I have questions. So when OP says that the other guy is pushing for more intimacy, do you mean physical intimacy, physical contact, like having sex, or do you mean like emotional intimacy? Do you know what I mean? Because I think, you know, there's people who are happy to get very physical, but they don't want to get emotionally close or be emotionally vulnerable. And there's other people who want to get to know someone on the emotional level first before they do anything physical. But anyway, regardless, it sounds like the guy in the story is being hashtag too much, as the kids say. And it's really turned OP off, which I think is fair enough, because do you know that way, like, oh, it actually reminds me of an experience that I had many years ago where, like, the first date with the guy, like, we went to dinner and it was like, it was definitely deeper than like a superficial first date conversation, you know. We'd certainly got into some topics, so I think that meant that we kind of felt comfortable being honest with each other and just putting things on the table, which is good. But then, like, I don't want to say he became obsessed, but it started to seem like he thought that not only was I going to be his therapist, but I was also going to be his, like, sexual support person, and that he could just, like, I don't know, like, he just wanted to, like, be around me all the fucking time. And it was just like, it wasn't even like being in the same room, hang out together. It was like he wanted to be physically, bodies touching all the time, to the point where, like, I was feeling claustrophobic. And it wasn't even like in a sexual way, it was like he would want to sit, like, on me basically, and it was just too fucking much. And I just was, like, really honest with him. I was like, this is, like, no, I can't, like, you can't be that way, like, you can't do that. But he wasn't getting the point, and it was quite clear that he had no intention of stopping, so I just like, cut the thing off. I mean, we'd only even seen each other a couple of times, so it wasn't like it was a serious thing, but every time I saw him, it was maybe like 3 or 4 times. He was, like, even worse than the time before, so yeah, I can definitely relate to that. And then as well, he was, I think he, or like one of the jobs that he did during that time was, like, working as a delivery driver. And either weeks or months after I cut things off with him, he messaged me like, oh, I just drove past your house, which I think he meant to be in like a, oh, I'm at work and just in the area, haha, made me think of you type way, but it came across like, I'm outside your house, you know what I mean? And I don't think I even responded to that, because that was just fucking, like, given that he was so much, like, wanting to be so physically close all the time, I was just like, no. So anyway, the question here is, will he forget me if I decide to cut things off before we sleep together? I mean, you can always forget people. I think, you know, the average person, sure, but there's also people as well who hyperfixate, or they do get obsessed to the point of, like, a serious issue. So it really depends, to be honest. I mean, the way in which OP intends to cut things off, whether it's actually having a conversation or just disappearing, is nowhere to be found. So for that reason, it's kind of difficult to say, to be honest. But yeah, I just hope then they haven't been to OP's house, so they don't know where, the guy doesn't know where they live. Anyway, so that's that one. What's another one? Potential boyfriend turned off by this woman. What? I don't understand what that means. Let's read. Potential boyfriend, 24 male, turned off by this 21 female. Is that the OP? Met him on Tinder. So I've been talking to this guy for the last couple of weeks. He's been great, been going out on dates and all before we make it official. He asked me about my breasts because I do have them done, and they're a lot bigger than they were last year when he knew me. Wait, what? I thought you said you were only talking to him for a couple of weeks. Okay, so maybe they had some sort of interaction last year, then they didn't speak to each other for a while, and recently they've started talking again, let's assume that. So when he originally knew her, she had, like, smaller size breasts than she currently does, so he asked the question. It started off really cute, asking how much bigger I got them and how much it cost. Then he asked who paid for them since they were so expensive, and I said an older guy I used to see last year, and he seemed to be turned off by that, as one of his friends told me I gave off gold digger vibes because of what I said. Should I have just lied? What should I do now to show him I'm not a gold digger? I mean, first of all, who gives a fuck? Like, like if you met this guy last year, didn't talk to him for a while, and now you started talking to him again recently, are you even interested in the guy? Like, do you even want to have him in your life? And if you don't, like, who cares what he thinks of you? And even if, like, if you would say, well, you know, the guy's kind of cool, whatever, but, you know, I'm not that bothered, then again, who cares? Like, it's your personal business. Do you know what I mean? But I could understand if OP is interested, and so she wants to kind of like save it a little bit. I mean, to be honest, I think the guy, like, it's pretty obvious, to be honest, that he was being really, what's the word? Like, he wasn't just asking innocent questions. He clearly wanted to know for a reason. Do you know what I mean? So, in a way, it's kind of on him that he would ask that question and then just like start acting weird. Like, I think it would be better, like, what's the word? Like, not more reputable, but you know what I mean? Just like better if he had asked the question, be like, oh, right, okay, I was just wondering because like whatever. And maybe if you said, oh, it seems like I'm getting the kind of impression XYZ, is that right? You know, like, don't just make fucking assumptions about people. So I would say that's on him. And maybe you don't want that kind of person in your life, you know, who's going to judge you for things like that. Don't get me wrong, when I was reading that part that said that, you know, an older guy that she used to see paid for them, the first thing I did think was like, oh, okay, because I thought, you know, maybe she's got her own fucking money and she paid for them herself. She didn't, which, you know, who am I to judge? Whatever. And then I thought maybe it was like a sugar daddy, sugar baby type situation. But again, like, if this older guy was happy to gift them to her and she was okay with it as well, you know, if it was all consensual and they're adults, then what's it got to do with me or him? Do you know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily say anything about the rest of our personality or behaviour or whatever. So I'm personally like, well, if that's the reason he's gone off you, then fuck him, who cares? But the question is, should I have just lied? No. Why should you have to hide who you are and what you do? It's fair enough if you're like, I don't really want to talk about it, or like, that's a bit personal, but I certainly wouldn't have lied. I don't think that's a good idea. What should I do now to show him I'm not a gold digger? Assuming that you really want to, again, I wouldn't, but assuming that you want to, I would just message and say, oh, hey, like, things seem to have gone a little bit cold. Our mutual friend said that maybe you were a bit put off by what I said and you were getting gold digger vibes. Like, is that right? Or like, don't worry, I'm not really like that, it's just whatever. Just to give him the opportunity to explain things, because maybe it's not like that. Maybe he had in his mind like, oh, you know, maybe she's a bit of a gold digger. Oh well, let's just see anyway how it goes, and maybe he's just been busy, or maybe he's also been dating someone else that he quite likes and he's not sure if he should continue talking to you. Do you know what I mean? There's several reasons why, so equally I wouldn't necessarily judge him by this one perception of how he's behaving. I would just ask him, and if he acts like a dick or if he doesn't reply at all, move on. Okay? Okay, good. What else have we got? Paying for gold? Is this along the same idea of gold digging, or is this a scam? Paying for gold? Okay, so the condensed version. Back in 2019, so damn, 4 years ago now, I matched with an amazing guy who was in the States for work. I'm assuming OP is in the States. We saw each other very regularly. He left to return to his country in December of 2019, so 3.5 years ago. We stayed in touch for a while. Then COVID happened, of course. We never unmatched. He returned to the States last year and then unmatched. Okay, life goes on. A week ago, Tinder tells me one of my likes is possibly him. Unique name. How does Tinder work now that they're telling you this might be this? I'm confused. But anyway, so she was alerted of his presence again on Tinder, okay? I haven't come across him yet, but my range... What? This is weird. You haven't come across him? So he didn't even come up on your pile to swipe? But yet Tinder told you that he was there? Oh, is it that thing where I think it's like either a premium feature or they limit it, where like it'll say like, oh, these people liked you, like click on one of them to see who it is. Is that what it is? And judging by the name, she's thinking it might be him. Okay. I haven't... Well, she says she hasn't come across him yet, so she didn't click on him. Do you know what? This isn't important to the story. Y'all, if you know how Tinder works and what the fuck she's talking about, let me know in the comments, because I'm clearly out of the fucking loop, okay? But anyway, OP hasn't come across him yet, but my range includes Chicago, tons of people to get through. If I pay for gold... like gold Tinder membership. Okay, so this is the premium paid version. When they say gold, they're talking about premium. If I pay for gold for a week and then cancel, will my likes drop? Just curious. I really would love to see him again. It was so much fun. I mean, I'm surprised you actually saw each other, but didn't ever exchange numbers. Personally, I always exchange numbers by then. Whatever. It's fine if you don't, you know, privacy reasons or whatever, that's fine. Just curious, I'd love to see him again. It was so much fun. Any advice? Thanks in advance. I mean, if you want to get gold and you think that'll let you match with them and open up a dialogue again, yeah, why not? Answer the why not is that they're asking, will the likes drop? Sorry, I keep saying she, I'm assuming. Still got coded biases, they, because I don't think they've indicated anywhere. But yeah, I don't know how long you can get gold for. If a week is like the lowest amount of time just to see this one guy again, like, do what you want. But I don't think likes would drop because you've only got gold for 1 week. I don't see where the sense in that would be. In the Tinder sun? What? Oh, there's no replies. I was looking to see if anyone knew what they were talking about. Huh. Oh well. That was anticlimactic. What am I on here? Because that even didn't have any stuff. I'm on hot. From what period? Oh, I can't see this. Because I'm feeling like maybe this thread doesn't get enough action to... Wait, I thought you could filter? Or is this sub just not that popular? Maybe it's just not that popular. Let's see. It's just like screenshots and stuff, right? Yeah, I don't want just screenshots. I want like actual stuff we can get into. Oops. Stop. No, stop. There was another community that I saw, or yeah, that's just like slash Tinder. But I don't know if that's gonna be good ones. Call for all men to make a stand? What? Am I gonna like this? Is this like incel stuff? Walking to the restaurant. Okay, I'm at the bar, sitting alone at the corner in the blue shirt. Headed home. You don't look like your profile pics at all. If you would have had more recent pics, I wouldn't have even cared. I'm just getting tired of the false representation on the apps. It's not just one gender that does that. Thanks very much. And it's not just men who are interested in one gender. No me gusto. I'm just getting tired of the false representation on the apps. Have a good one and I wish you luck. Wow, thanks, bye, Kay. She was at least 40 pounds heavy. I wouldn't have cared. I'm not in perfect shape either, but my pictures are current and I'm tired of being lied to. What do I think of that? What do I think of that? I mean, I do think, you know, it can be like bordering on catfishing if someone looks so wildly different in their profile to what they look in real life. But also I can understand that if someone is the kind of person who doesn't have a lot of pictures of themselves and doesn't like to take a lot of pictures, then, you know, you maybe don't just want to put one recent photo that you've got. You maybe want to like put a couple from like the last year or so. But if you're looking like wildly fucking different, then I can understand how that's like not great, because people can deny it as much as they want, but the appearance is always going to be an element. It's just how big of a thing it's actually going to be to each person. But OP here is saying like it doesn't even matter like what they actually looked like in the end. It was just annoyed that they misrepresented themselves. It was just annoying that they misrepresented themselves, which I think is fair enough, because it's not like even that they were mean. to the other person. I don't think it was necessary to say that the main difference was her weight. I think it doesn't really matter how they looked different, just the fact that they did look different. If it was me, I mean, theoretically, I'm like, oh, well, you know, it would have been nice if maybe he'd brought that up while they were on the date. Like, oh, hey, like, I had trouble finding you because you didn't really look that much like your pics, and give her the chance to explain. However, I can understand that in the moment when you're there, that's quite a bold, confident thing to say. It's not confrontational, but it does kind of like, one of the first things you say to them is like, hey, you lied to me. You know, like, I wouldn't say it in that way. As I say, I would just say like, oh, you look kind of different, and let them explain. But, you know, it's so well and good to say that, but would I be able to do that in the moment? I'm not sure, but then also it depends how bothered I was by it. So I think it's fair enough that afterwards they were just like, hey, this is the reason why I'm not really interested in you anymore, rather than just ghosting them or being mean to them. So yeah, whatever. Not too fussed about that one. These are all just screenshots as well. Okay, let's not fuck it. You know, I've done the relationship and dating advice ones. Let's just go back to that. Let's do one, okay? Sorry. Let's do one and scroll a bit to see if we can get a nice one. Oh my god, what am I doing? See if we can get a nice one to finish off this video, or not a nice one necessarily, but a good one. Is dating black men out of the question for most women? I fucking hope not. I don't think I want to do that. You won't commit after 8 months. I think that's different enough to the ones we've done previously. Is this big enough? Yeah. Let me do one more. Just because like I can barely see it, so yeah, I know I'm wearing glasses, but they don't fully correct my vision, so. Okay, he won't commit after 8 months. I, a 25 female, have been seeing one guy who's 26-year-old male exclusively for the past 8 months. We're a great match and have lots in common, and have gotten into maybe 3 disagreements over this time. There's a ton of passion in a relationship, and he's never done anything to make me not trust him. I could honestly see myself having kids with and marrying him. I haven't felt this way about anyone before, so it seems like for OP it's pretty serious. The only time we have a disagreement is when I bring up commitment. He says he wants to get to know me first before putting a label on it. Wow, after 8 months you don't know her? It's also things like, this comes before a label? Okay, so he's got in his mind like events or milestones or whatever that should come before a label. What will actually change if I make you my girlfriend? I've expressed that I need the label of girlfriend or partner to feel secure and safe in this connection. I don't want to waste my time as I'm 25. Girl, that's still young. But fair enough, depends on your own goals, you know. I have always been a relationship type and don't enjoy dating for fun. He takes me on dates and pays, makes time for me, and is very motivated and hardworking. I'm asking for advice. Do I hang around and wait for him to ask me to be his girlfriend? Am I making this a bigger deal than it is? Or should I tell him I want to see other people since he won't give me the commitment that I need? I obviously don't want this, but I also don't want to be in this situation forever. So, what to do? This is an interesting one. Let's go through it a little bit, yeah? So yeah, it's been 8 months and he's already saying, or like he's still saying that they don't know each other well enough to just officially be boyfriend, girlfriend or partners, which I think is a bit weird, honestly, but you know, it depends on each individual. Maybe for him it is too soon. However, saying these things like, oh, but you know, we should do this first or that first, I forget where it is, but saying like, oh, we have to do this first or that first, like who says? I kind of think that's just like societal expectations bullshit, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, if he was like, I would like to do this first, or appreciate that you don't feel comfortable right now, but I also wouldn't feel comfortable if we whatever, you know, if we didn't do this first. But it seems like they're just saying this should come before, which I personally think that's silly, to be like, oh, there is an order, there are rules. In terms of what will actually change if I make you my girlfriend, she says she's been exclusively dating him but has he been exclusively dating her? Because assuming that you're wanting to enter into a monogamous relationship, that would change, and maybe that's what he doesn't want. Maybe he's still not sure on you yet. Like, maybe, yeah, he's nice enough that he's gonna, you know, give you the time of day and treat you to stuff, but he's still not sure emotionally. If he likes you enough, could be that. To be honest, I do understand that she's saying, like, look, I just don't feel secure unless I have a label. Like, it sucks, but I get it. I understand. And she's been very open and honest with that, which I appreciate. Just because it's not the ideal situation doesn't mean that, you know, we can't work around it together, it seems like it's what she's trying to do. But at the same time, she's like, am I making too much of a fuss of this? Like, you know, should I just get over it? So what's the question? Am I making it a bigger deal than it is? Or should I just start seeing other people? Oh, sorry. Just judging by this post, I mean, I don't know how the conversations with him actually went, but judging by this post, it seems like you're pretty cool, calm and collective. I don't think you're making that big of a deal of it. And after 8 months, I think it's a reasonable thing for you to ask, honestly, because that's sliding into territory that's definitely medium term. You know, it's not short term. So I think it's reasonable, especially, you know, if you're a relationship type and, you know, you do want to get married in the near future. I don't think it's unreasonable for you to be like, look, what's going on here? Are we girlfriend, boyfriend or not? Because I need to think ahead. I think that's fair enough, honestly. And again, it seems as if you're doing it in a nice way, where you're not like, you know, you have to make me your girlfriend or else something, you know, like the ultimatum one that we saw in one of the last videos. It doesn't seem like she's doing that, which is good. She's also said though, like, something about waiting for him to ask her to be his girlfriend. Like, why does she need to wait? Like, my question is she waiting for him to ask because she thinks that's the way it's supposed to be and she doesn't want to ask? Or is she saying, no, I have asked and this is what the answer has been, so should I wait for him to come around and be ready? I don't know, it's hard to say, honestly. It's hard to say. She says they're passionate and stuff, but I would really want to know more about, like, why does he not want to? Because just this, like, we need to do things in a certain order, to me that's so wishy-washy. That's such a nothing reason. And I wonder if later down the line, when you are talking about, you know, arranging a wedding or having kids, is he gonna be as rigid then as well and be like, no, it has to be done in this order, and that you also don't agree to? I think that's also important as well, because if this is his approach to all relationship type stuff, or not even just relationship stuff, but things that would also impact you, might be a good idea to find that out, hun. I mean, if he says that, you know, I would definitely be fine theoretically with being girlfriend, boyfriend eventually, but just not right now, then I would say, okay, maybe wait a couple more months, but maybe like set the time limit on that, either in your own head or together, and say, okay, well, how about, you know, we check in again at this point and see how you feel then, and then we'll decide what to do. I think that's a reasonable thing to do, and that way he can kind of like know that he should be mulling on it in his mind, because we're going to come back to this conversation later on. But if that's like feeling like, nah, I don't really want to do that, then to be honest, yeah, I would just be like, you know what, your opinions or your stance on the situation is fair enough. However, it's not feeling that compatible with my stance on the situation, so I'm happy to keep hanging out, but I think I can't be exclusive with you anymore because I need something more. I think that would also be totally fine and reasonable. And just judging purely by this post and nothing else, and the way that I am, I would go for that as my first option. But the first option that I talked about sort of setting a time limit on when to look back to this, so you're not hanging in there and waiting forever, I don't think that's a good idea. You could also do that as well. All right. Cool. All right then, I'm definitely feeling less grumpy now, so thank you very much for hanging out with me as always. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you thought of the video quality in this video. Keep in mind that it is still a webcam that I'm using, so it's not going to be like amazing, like the videos, amazing quality that is, like the videos on my other channel, but compared to the previous webcam that I was using for this channel on like the live streams and stuff like that. Let me know if the improvement is significant enough that I should keep this camera. Okay? Yeah, thanks for hanging out. If you like this video, also check out some others from me. Take care, and I will see you again next time. Alright? Bye-bye, 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 bye.